Hello and welcome to How to Solve a Rubik's Cube in 30 Seconds. This is part 3 of a multi-part series that's going to teach you how to actually solve the Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2 yet, I suggest you go back and watch them because this is a continuing solution on how to solve it. In step 1, we learned how to put an X on all sides of the top. That might be fairly obvious for most of you who are really studying this. In part 2, however, we did a move that taught you how to move each piece so that whether or not it was turned correctly, it's actually in the right position. So part 3, this part, is about how to turn each of these pieces very quickly so that we actually put the X on it. And by putting the X on it, it will put an X on every side. It will essentially solve all the outside pieces. And then at that point, we are moving on to only middles. We've done our X's, we're on our bottom. We now look around and we realize that we've done our move to make sure everything is correct. So now we have to do a move that's going to put the X's on the whole thing. Now when you look at the bottom after you've done this move, there's many options. You could just have the one yellow. You could have two yellows side by side. You could have diagonal yellows, or you could have no yellows. You will never have three yellows, I can promise you that. And for every scenario, there is a different move that actually will give you, in 7 moves or less, the X. I'm going to give you the most common one, and then in my at the end of my series, I'm going to have some extra moves, and you'll be able to see the extra moves. And one of the extra moves I'm going to give you in the series will be how to get X's if it's with two yellows, or 2 yellows this way, or no yellows. Okay, so in this particular case, we have 1. And actually, to take it a step farther, there's 2 ways you could have 1. And 1 yellow, you want to put it in the upper right corner for this move we're going to do. But also I'm going to ask you to look here and ask if the yellow is here. They could have 2 ways. It could have the yellow here, and then this one could be here. Or it could have the yellow here, and it can be up here. There's actually 2 separate moves for that. And again, if you're really going to get down to being able to solve a Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds, you need to know the difference. In this particular case, since it's on the top, we're going to do the move that creates an X on all sides. You have your X that you did solve in step 1. You're going to put it far away from you so that the side you're solving, the X we're putting on the back side now, the yellow, is there. And you're going to do this series of moves. You're going to go 1 on the top, 2, 1 back on the top, 1 more this way, 1 more back on the top, 1 more on the face again, and 1 more back. What do you see? An X. And now if you look, you'll notice we have an X on every side. Okay? If you think about what we've done basically 2 7 moves plus the beginning of getting the X on the top side. All in all, we've done less than 20 moves, which is easily something that can be done in 10 seconds, and we've put an X on every side. We've essentially solved half of the Rubik's Cube in 10 seconds. That's crucial because in the next moves, we're going to move on to the edges. And the great thing about the edges is no matter what you do to the edges, anything you slide around, you are never messing up the fact that you still have your corners in place. You're going to be moving the middles around, you're going to be moving the edges around, but you are never actually moving one or these without the other. If you want to know how to solve this cube with all of the other moves, I've just showed you the one with one piece and 1 on the top. Check out my other series of videos. But know that there are different combinations. If you really want to get advanced on this, different combinations, all as simple as the one I've showed you, that will put, whether you have 1, 2, 2 diagonally, or none, this quickly into an X form. Anyways, please subscribe to my channel. Please keep watching these videos. Go give me a comment, ask me a question. I'm here to help. At the end of this, we will be solving a Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds. See you in part 4.